Ladies and gentlemen, right here you got the 2018 Bentley Mulsanne. And according to Bentley, this is the car with the most presence, most luxurious, and at the same most comfortable in its category. And you can get all of that for just $350,000. Is it worth it? Why don't you just let me explain and you make the decision. Let's go. And I think before jumping into the car, I'm going to give you a little background on Bentley and where they stand right now, because it's very important to know where a manufacturer stands according to whatever car you're looking at and they're making. So I don't know if you guys remember, but in the late 90s and early 2000s, every rap dude had a big Bentley in their music videos. And that all cooled off real quick. And for a while, everyone was like, so what's the deal with Bentley? And it's just such a big car, I don't know. And then Rolls-Royce came out hot with a Phantom and kind of seemed like everyone forgot about Bentley until Bentley came out with a coupe, which is a GT. Then they came out with a convertible of that, and that convertible was a bigger hit than the original coupe. So that brought a whole new life to the Bentley lineup, and that made him go, okay, we got this. People are still interested in the brand. Let's go. Let's run full force with it. So what they did is they created a flying spur from that same GT. And after creating the flying spur, which is the 4-door version of the GT, they have another car above, which is this one, the Mulsanne. And right in between the Mulsanne and the flying spur, we have a Bentayga, which is the SUV. So Bentley's got a full lineup right now, and they're revamping their GT platform with something really special. They're using the Porsche platform for the Panamera for that car. You know what that means? That car is going to be so agile, and every review has been not only positive, like has been way beyond. I really think Bentley's about to make a 180, and we're about to witness the whole thing in front of our eyes. So very exciting times, but today we're talking about this Mulsanne. Bentley wanted to create this car so you can have the ultimate road presence, comfort, luxury, and at the same time, a sporty feel when driving it. It's a completely different approach to the Rolls-Royce approach, which is all based on comfort. They want this to be a driver's Rolls-Royce, if you will. And is that going to pay off? I'm going to show you all the differences that makes these cars completely different from each other. And of course, I'm going to show you the one thing they have in common, which is luxury. Every single material that you touch in here is high-end, premium, top of the line, no question about it. So that's two things these cars have in common. One big misconception is everyone thinks this is the competitor to the Phantom. It is not. Even if Bentley says that it is, which I'm not sure they do, it's not. Just simply based on the car and how much room you have in here, you can't compare it to the Phantom. I think the closest experience to this car is just the Rolls-Royce right now. So without any more BS, how about I just shut up and I just show you the car? Let's do this. Whoa, so they said that presence was going to be a big thing that they worked on for this car, and that was a big deal for them, and I think they achieved that. I mean, the design is insane. It feels heavy, it's got a presence, it feels like big, luxurious, it feels like a tank, but like a luxury tank, so it works. A lot of chrome everywhere, lots of great details that we're going to get into right now. I just want to walk you around for you to look at it, and you can understand that they did accomplish what they set out to do, which is build a car that's beautiful with a great presence, and this car does have it. On the back, however, it looks a little bit too Phantom-ish, which is not a bad thing. It's a great thing. In my opinion, one of the best moves that they've done. And obviously, if you look at the lights, they had the signature Bentley right here, B. So, did they accomplish what they set out to do with the presence of the car? Absolutely. You know, for my detail lovers, here you go. You have one of these, just like the Spirit of Ecstasy, but with the B and the wings. And this one doesn't go down like the Spirit of Ecstasy when you lock the car. But look at this. If you pull on it, pull it forward, it goes down. So it hides, doesn't flush. But if you pull it back up and just pull this, it stays up. So there's that. Now, look at the grille and all of the chrome that they installed. They did a fantastic job with that. The last car didn't look anything like that on the front, and it was a huge problem for me. I think the design has been nailed by Bentley this time around. And speaking of design, have you guys looked at these badass lights? Oh my God, they're insane. And I'm sure some of you guys are wondering, what the hell is that? So what that does is a little robot comes out and then starts spitting water, and here, and this thing goes, and you know, it just cleans that. That's what that is for. But now that I'm so close, I noticed right away, there's a camera right here, there's a camera up here, which I wish it was a little bit more hidden, and there's another camera right here. So there's supposed to be a lot of technology inside of the car, even though it looks like an older-ish car. Let's find out. And as I'm looking at the lights, I turned around and I looked at the wheels, and then I immediately saw a B there and said, wait, didn't I just see B and Bentley already 3 times? Let me show you. 1, 2, 3. There's a B right here to remind you that that's a Bentley. Obviously on the wheel, obviously on the back light, and obviously on the logo. You know, just in case you guys forget that you bought a Bentley. So That's awesome. And let's open the hood of this monster because the engine is insane, people. You're gonna freaking lose your shit when you see this. And in order for you to open the car, you just pull that latch. In there's another latch right here, and that makes it so easy and so accessible. So now look at these monster guys. This is a V8 twin turbo engine, 6.7 liter. Whoo, that produces 530 horsepower. That's a lot of power, and especially for a car this size. It's almost 6,000 pounds. You know how heavy that is? And that still pushes the car from 0 to 60 in just 5 seconds. All of that, Jesus, that's muscle. And also for those of you who like the details, look at this. If you're looking at the engine and you look at this plate, you can tell what's your engine number and also who put your engine together, which was Steve Brown in this one. So if anything goes wrong with your car, you can just pick up your phone and call Steve and tell him, hey, Steve, you mother... No, I'm just kidding. You cannot do that, guys. Please, no one do that, please. And before we get in the car, let me just bring up one of the most important things about this car. This car is owned by Volkswagen Group, so you see the key looks like a Passat key, or however you want to look at it, or a Bugatti key. That's right, not the Chiron, but the old Bugatti, the Veyron, had this exact same key. So, Passat or Veyron, you make the choice. And to get into the car, you don't actually need the key. All you need to do is put it in your pocket like such, and then you just get close to the car, put your hand right here, and immediately it unleashes the beast and opens the locks. That's pretty much it. And look at this. Ooh, hoo, hoo. But before even getting in the car, let me show you all the functionality here by the door. But I immediately noticed that we're lacking an umbrella here. And no, it does not have an umbrella on the back door. So where is the umbrella in this car? Because you gotta have an umbrella, right? You just get back here, you press on that B logo, and immediately open the trunk to reveal two beautiful umbrellas back here. So in case it rains and it catches you by surprise and you have a Bentley and you didn't know about this, there you go. And before I show you the windows, because the windows have some cool features right here, and I know, cool features for a window, what? I know. There's one thing that immediately jumped off the page and caught my eye, which is this. You see all the controls for the seats? They're right here, which is normal, pretty normal. You just move the top part of the seat, the back, and the bottom part of the seat. Then right here you have your lumbar support, whether you want it in, out, up, down, or your massage buttons and seat up and down, right? Where are the memories? The memories are on the door. And I know that's not strange and it's not poorly done, but it's weird that they're not right there. I think this is the first time I paid attention to that. And now as I sit inside of this beast and look at all of that delicious materials everywhere, and before I get stuck telling you how delicious this is, let me bring you back to the windows. And look at this. For the first time ever, these are independent. And I actually discovered this by accident because I thought one of the windows was bad in the back, and then I came and checked and it had the lock on. So you can lock, unlock one, lock, unlock the other, or actually both at the same time. I'm sorry guys, I've never seen that in a car, so that caught my attention. That was awesome. And already being inside, you guys can tell that this steering wheel looks modern, kind of like the Bentayga one. But one thing that caught my attention was right here, the dials. The speedometer and your tachometer, everything goes, instead of left to right, it goes from up and down this way. How awesome is that? And the detail on the dials is insane. They look so cool. And another thing you'll notice right away is that it revs up to 4,500 RPM. Why only 4,500 RPM? And the answer is rather simple. Normally when you have a high revving car, that means you have like the sportiest car ever. For example, the Mercedes Project One will rev up to like 12,000 RPM. So you can hear the and feel the car working. But in here, they don't want the car to be working. They don't want you to feel the car working. So they make those shorter. Instead of the 12, you get 4,500, but the engine never feels like it's overworking. It's always feeling like it's giving you progressive power, which is awesome for what the car is built for. And from these dials, let me take you to these, which I really, really liked in the car. So you guys see right here is your fuel gauge, your temperature gauge, and a beautiful clock to let people know that you're sitting in a Bentley and it's so freaking expensive. There's a fucking clock right in the middle of it staring at you. That's so fancy. Damn, I love that little detail. And on top of that, of course, you're gonna see the screen. And the interesting thing about this screen is that I would have never thought this was gonna be a touch screen, that it responded this fast. Like, not once in my life I thought this was gonna be the case. But I feel blessed. And if you're one of those people that worries about storage, don't worry about it, my G. Because right here you have a very nice little pouch where you can put your phone, and it's covered in leather. Then underneath that you have another place to put your second phone or your wife's phone. And then right here you have the biggest cup holder in the world for probably a big gulp or 2 medium drinks, whatever you're in the mood for, basically. And then right here you have more storage inside of each one of these, but don't worry about it. There's more storage right underneath it too. There's that little black part, and then there's right here. There's obviously on the side of each door. one, and these are pretty deep and big. That's what she said. And also right here. And yeah, you have a CD changer, you have a memory card, and I believe the car has a hard drive of 60 gigs. So if you want to store some of your music, you can do that right here. And the way to turn on the car, it's rather simple. You just foot on the brake, you click the start-stop button, and the engine comes to life, just like that. You don't need the key for anything, thank God. Let me show you something that you won't ever see in a Rolls-Royce, I believe. And these are driving modes, because this is supposed to be a luxury car, and even then you have some modes. So you have custom mode, that means you'll put yours together, sport, comfort, and right in between there's Bentley mode, which we are in Bentley mode. When you start the car, you are in Bentley mode. So there's that. One of the things that I really liked about this configuration of all the buttons being right here is that it was very easy to use. I took the car out to lunch yesterday and it worked flawlessly. It was so simple to use. Although there are two things that are worth pointing out. One, what is this? Why do I have a joystick like this? I mean, I can still use my fingers for this, so this is a little redundant, and at the same time, it's a little bit annoying that I can never get it to the right place where I want it. It might be that I'm retarded, but that's just me. And then the second one, which one of these dials is your volume? Quick, boom, blah, 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 blah. This one. And the problem is someone's gonna get in the car with you and they're immediately gonna fuck with every single knob before hitting the right one. So that's I don't know, like the volume knob should have been a little bit different. And now that I'm sitting in the back, let me show you something that I found really, really interesting once I get in the car. You ready? So on the left, you see that piece of wood? Okay, just follow here with me. You see that piece of wood? You see that piece of wood? You see that piece of wood? Yeah, I'm guessing you guys know where I'm going with this. Even underneath the seatbelt, there's wood, just so you guys know. You guys see it? It keeps going all around the car. It's even behind the seat, and it goes all the way to here, all the way there, and then it keeps coming this way and wraps around the front seat again. So it's all over the car. That's cool. I've never seen that in a car before. That's a really cool detail. And since we're sitting in the back seat, let me show you the goodies, people. The goodies come right here. Just like in the Rolls, if you ask for it, you can get a fridge back here. But that's not important right now, because let me show you this. Boom! All of your controls right here. Each one of the controls for the AC is independent for each person on the back, so we all get ours back here. And also, you have your seat adjustments right here, so you can recline, decline the seat, whatever you want. And most importantly, you can push that seat forward right here, so you can bathe in the lap of luxury. But the most important thing is, they really did that because you have some tables here to get your work done. I gotta be completely honest with you guys. Even though I have huge hands, I get it for my size. These are very small. For the next generation, they should give us a little bit bigger tables, because this what are you gonna put there? Your McMuffin? Even that's gonna fall from there, right? Another cool little detail about this car. You guys see that patch of delicious perforated leather? That's a speaker, homies. Freaking speaker. One thing I love about these Bentleys is their ashtrays. Come on, their ashtray game is on point. These feel so expensive. I'm sorry about all my fingerprints and Farghini's oils, but God, these are so nice. Look at them. And then you open it, it's big. You can actually put a lot of ash in there if you're into that kind of shit. But here it is. And also, you'll see that at the bottom, you can stick that thing in there so that it doesn't move in case you break hard or anything. So, and I'm sure you guys noticed and are wondering right here, where's my cup holder? Where am I supposed to put my drinks now? Is it because it doesn't have a fridge that it doesn't come with a cup holder? No, don't worry about it, homies. All you need to do right here, you press that little button, and then these come out. And these are your cup holders. And they're all wrapped up in leather, super fine materials. All you gotta do is stick them here. Boom, you got your cup holder. And if you don't want it anymore, you take it out, you put it down here, and you just close it. So fucking elegant. God, this is classy as fuck. Another feature that I haven't seen in any other car that is really cool in this one, in Bentleys, are, you see this light right here? You don't need to do anything but put your finger through it so that the light can come on. And if you want to turn off, you put your finger through it again. That's what she said? The joke? Kinda? So no, driving the car, Bentley promised us three things. One, the presence of the car. Delivered. Bentley promised the second thing, which is the most luxurious experience. Delivered. Whether the technology is a little behind from the competition right now, it doesn't matter because the new technology for Bentley's coming in, and I see the car for what it is right now. So it delivers on those two. And the third thing was, they want you to feel like it's a sporty car, a driver's car. Do they deliver on that? They do, but the result is not what they expect, or at least it's not for me what I would expect. Because what happens when you make a luxury car like this one sporty? Number one, you stiffen everything. And when you stiffen everything, that means you're gonna hear more things, more vibrations you're gonna feel, and a lot of that comfy cloud ride is gonna get taken away. The steering in this thing is way beyond better than the one in the Rolls, no question about it, because it's hard. It's a driver's steer. Now, does that make you be able to place the car anywhere in a corner? No, absolutely not. So the benefit is just, I feel more like if I let go of the steering wheel, the car will go straight a little bit more. But other than that, it's not like you can maneuver this car. As you can tell just by me switching lanes, the roll on the car is crazy. So the steering, some people might be fans of it. I am personally more a fan of the cloudy steering wheel from the Rolls-Royce for one simple reason. It's supposed to be a long distance cruiser, and I don't want to think about the steering wheel. I don't want to think about anything, and I don't want to put any effort into driving the car, and the Rolls does that better. The other thing, you hear more things in this car. Whether they say that it's as quiet as a Rolls, it's not. The engine makes a lot of noise. It kind of sounds like an S8 pushing it. Look. In the Rolls, you don't hear that, and it's not a bad thing, but it's also not a good thing, because this doesn't have that Lamborghini noise, right? It doesn't have that X Factor noise. So do you just really want to hear an engine overworking? It's not my thing, but they did do that for the car because it's sportier. Suspension stiffer, that means you feel a little bit more of the bumps of the road and all of the turns, and also it gives you more roll like this. I mean, if you guys just see this, you'll understand that the car just dances. Does that take away from the experience? No. It does deliver in every sense that they said. It really does, even on the sporty thing. But do you care so much about driving a luxury car that feels sporty, or do you just want full-blown luxury? I'm more of the Rolls-Royce type of guy. I'm more of a, if you're giving me full luxury, just give me full luxury. So all in, the car does deliver in every single sense that Bentley said they would deliver. It's just a different experience from what I'm used to and from what I'm looking for in a car. But it does deliver on every single promise that they made. Now, what do you guys think? And before I even go there, this is not a more exclusive car than a Rolls-Royce. We don't see many of these here in the US because the Rolls-Royce is, I don't know why the perception of the Rolls is bigger here in the US, but if you go to China, for example, these sell like fucking pancakes there. I have no idea why, what the difference is, but that explains a little something that I didn't know. So with that said, guys, I'm gonna leave you with one question. What do you think about them adding that sport drive into the Bentley? Do you think it was a mistake? Do you think it was not? Do you want to feel more of the road in a luxury car or not? I just want to know what your opinion is, because mine isn't right. Mine is just my opinion. And I'm always curious to see what you guys have to say and to learn from you guys. So, again, my name is Alejandro, guys. Thank you so very much for your time. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you mofos next time. Thank you again.